C, given
Jain,
the report.
sir.
Then
Jain, sir. 29 out of 35 present, sir.
29 out of 35.
Yes, sir.
Good. So flight C is always very punctual. Flight B and flight A and flight B cadets are very lenient. Okay. Hello. Anyway, so first and foremost thing is about Fit India movement. You all might have received the notifications and guidelines from your respective flight commanders. So 1 month there is a Fit India movement is there. So I request all the cadets to participate actively, do some physical activity every day. It might be anything. You might already been doing it, but you post those activities in the social media, in the Twitter with hashtag Fit India, and motivate your family, friends, and others to do physical activity. Okay, so I can expect from you all, because we should not be, you know, lagging in terms of any activity compared to other squadrons. I see other squadrons do videos and post it in the Instagrams and others, like Atmanirbhar and all. Recently, one car squadron with different languages they have posted it. So it's a good initiative. Likewise, even our squadron has done it, but we are failing in the projection. So we have to project it to everyone outside, and we have to show that even 6 Air is doing a lot of activity. Yeah? The seniors have to take very serious initiative and motivate the juniors to do the activity. And if some juniors bring to the notice, we'll kick them out. Okay? We don't want any mediocre. We want cadets to be actual cadets who are in uniform to serve the country. Okay? Serving the country is not one holding the rifle and fighting at the border. This is also kind of service. This is also kind of serving to the country. So first do this. Okay? So with this, we start our today's session. So today we will talk about the airframe. In the last session we talked about the control surfaces, the various controls, and a lot of parameters related to that. Okay. I'm going to present my screen. So hope the screen is visible to you all. If you don't see the screen, please let me know. You all can see the screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
fine.
Yes, sir.
Today we will talk about the ask the cadets to come on time. Why Manish you are late today? You are supposed to be my favorite cadet. A very sincere cadet. Okay. So today we will talk about the airframe. So construction of the aircraft, the structure of the aircraft. Okay. So first of all, we will talk about the fuselage, the various techniques that is used in the fuselage in the constructions. So what is a fuselage? The fuselage holds the entire aircraft. It is the main part of the aircraft. So where all other things are connected. So if you look into the definition of the airframe, so airframe of fixed wing aircraft is generally considered to consist of 5 principal units. That is, basically what does an aircraft consist of? A fuselage, wings, stabilizers, flight control surfaces, and landing gears. So these are the main things which comes under the airframe:
Huh?
fuselage, wings, stabilizers, flight control surfaces, and landing gears. Who is that? Mute your mic. So fuselage is the main structure of the body, as I told you. The main structure of the body of aircraft, which wings, which everything is connected, that is wings, rudders, and surfaces are attached to this aircraft. Okay. So this fuselage need to have a strength, and it need to withstand the pressure, and it should able to carry the load. So it should serve all these parameters. So if you see here, the fuselage is the main structure of the body of the aircraft. It provides space for cargo, control, passengers. In a single engine aircraft, it houses the power plant. A multi-engine aircraft may enter, may either engines may either be in fuselage, attached to fuselage, or suspended from main gears. Okay. And when we talk about the surfaces, then it should have a smooth. The aerodynamics performance can be improved, and it should have sufficient strength to withstand the aerodynamic loads, then sufficient stiffness to retain the correct shape, because when it fly at higher altitude due to low pressure, the structure should not, what is that, compress, or it should not compress it. It should withstand that pressure. So then mounting points, a fuselage should have a mounting point for engine, armaments, fuel tank, and equipment, and it should provide a protection for the crew members, and sufficient breakdown points so that it can be easily dismantled and do servicing, easy for servicing and inspection. It should not be a very stringent, a long structure so that it is difficult to carry from one assembling or dismantling. And at the same time, it should be economical as well, and strength and economical both should satisfy. Anyway, if the both are contradictory, both cannot happen with so much, but still a trade-off has to be made between these two parameters. And if you look into the type of construction, so there are various types of construction. One is the truss type construction, stress skin construction, monocoque construction, semi-monocoque, D-spar construction, box spar construction. So now first we will look into the truss type construction. So the truss type construction is nothing but it is like frames which are interconnected with longerons. Longeron means it is rods or the frame which runs from the starting point to the end point. So those kind of structures, or those kind of what is that sheet, not sheet, the rods it as the longerons. Okay, and to support those longerons, there should be a diagonal tubular steel pipes or structure should be provided. So if you look into the bridges, when you pass through the bridges to support, you need to have certain, the structures which are made in triangular form so that it can withstand the load. So in the same way, this truss is constructed. So this is a rigid framework made up of the members such as beam, strut, and bar to resist the deformation by applied load. A truss-framed fuselage is generally covered with fabric. Now, about this, for this structure, if it is covered, so we call it as a skin, and that is covered with a fabric, and is usually constructed of steel tubing welded together in such a manner that all members of truss can carry both tension and compression load. Okay. So this is, we call it as a for this. So the truss, and next is the monocoque. So in the monocoque, there is absence of longeron. There are no long running steel bars. So it is only the former is there and bulkhead. So the front metal plate, the thick metal plate at the front, and in the middle there are formers like these, and these are together connected just with the skin. Skin is nothing but the thick metal sheet. Rather than welded, it is riveted. But here the problem is that the construction, this metal sheet need to be very thick because there is no other support. So it needs to have a lot of strength to withstand the structure. In between there is no support. So any load that is put on the skin or the metal sheets, it should withstand. So that, in keeping that in mind, if we increase the thickness of the sheet, then what happens? The aircraft weight will increase. And then again, if the weight increases, then again getting lift, you need to have more thrust, lot of other parameters getting. So it becomes very complicated. So monocoque structures were used before, but now monocoque structures are very rarely used. In fact, semi-monocoque structures are used nowadays. So if you read here, as per the statement, the monocoque is a single cell fuselage relies largely on the strength of the skin or covering to carry the primary stresses. The true monocoque construction use the formers. So these circular rings, we call it as the formers, frame assemblies and bulkhead. So this front side, what you see, this we call it as the bulkhead. This we call it as the bulkhead, the front and the back side, to give the shape of the fuselage. But the skin carries the primary stress. It means the entire load is on the skin. Okay. Since no bracing members are present, the skin must be strong enough to keep the fuselage rigid. So the problem is, as I told you, it increases the weight. Next comes the stressed skin structure. So where we have it's a combination of the monocoque structure and the truss means it has the longerons, it has the ribs. So these are ribs. So like this structures which you are seeing here, these are ribs, and the lines which are running, these are called as the longerons, and these are spars. Okay, the main from left to right which is running here. And these rods in between, we call it as stringers. Okay, and above that there is a stressed skin. Right. So now the load is shared between the internal frame and the skin. So internal structure consists of series of frames held together by longerons. Longerons are stringers. So what do we have in the stressed skin? So we have the spar, stringers, ribs, and stressed skin. So semi-monocoque structure, if you look into, so we have the longerons. Now it is a combination of both monocoque structure and the truss. Now if you see here, the long rods which are running in purple color, so those are the longerons. There is a bulkhead, there is a former, and the skin. So you can see from this structure. Now it is not only the circular rings, but these circular rings are supported by longerons. Okay. So now the load has been distributed uniformly. So this is called as a semi-monocoque structure. So to overcome the strength/weight problem of monocoque construction, a modification called semi-monocoque construction was developed. So in addition to formers, frame assembly and bulkhead, the semi-monocoque construction has the skin reinforced by longitudinal cells. Okay. And most modern aircrafts are semi-monocoque types. So these are stringers. So these in between are stringers. So this. And next is the D-spar. So next is the D-spar, because the front side of it is a kind of a D, it looks like a D, so it's called as a D-spar structure. So during the flight wing, so it is mainly used in the wing the model is influenced by aerodynamic force that curves and twists it in the construction of fueled up wing curving forces or taken up by spar and twisting ones by D-box construction. The D-box is a tube in a letter D form in front of the spar. So that's why they must be hard and strong. Because most of the aerodynamic weight is influenced on the leading edge of the wing. So that is why these parts need to be thick and they need to have a strong construction. So now if you look into the aerofoil shape, then this is the leading edge here and this is the trailing edge, and this this orange line which you see is a chord line, which is a virtual line which joins from leading edge to the trailing edge. And this green dotted line is nothing but the camber line, and most of the camber, the maximum camber is front side, that is at the leading edge at the half of this. So the location of maximum thickness is available at this point of the wing. So this is where the D-spar comes here. So this is the split up of the airframe. So this is a fuselage. If you look into the dismantled part, so it looks like this. So this is the wings. Wings are separate again. It's a one single structure. So one wing is a one single structure, another wing is another single structure. And the power plant is nothing but the engine part where we mount the engines. And this is the fuselage. And you see this is the bulkhead which used to connect this engine point here. And there is another bulkhead here which used to connect the the tail plane of this, and then the horizontal stabilizer is separate part and the vertical stabilizer is a separate part. And landing gears are separate. So the other components are, again, the formers are discussed here. So these are formers which are seen in the before in the slide. So these rings which are in between, which are connected with the longerons or the stringers, these are called as formers. Okay, and above that is the stretch. So frames, these are frames again, the traverse structural member of the fuselage supporting the longerons. So what is the definition of? So we can write it as the transverse structural members of a fuselage supporting the longerons. And what are longerons? The principal longitudinal member of the fuselage which runs from front to rear. So this should be the definition. What is longeron? Longeron is a fuselage which runs from front to rear and is usually supported by various points along its length by other structural members. And stringer, a stiffener, stringer is nothing but a stiffener which also assists the skin to carry direct load in the direction of its length. Okay. So the main beam which runs here, that is a longeron, and the small rod which runs, that is a stringer. So what are the composite materials? vertical. That is for the skin. Okay. So now let us look at the main plane here. That is the wing. So as we have seen before, so the front section, the leading edge of the wing is connected with slats. This is the main wing. So we have the spoilers at the rear on the trailing edge and flaps at the trailing edge, and at the edges we have the winglets. So this is because these are lifted up to encounter the problem of vertex. So I will come to that at the end of this today's session. What are vertex? When aircraft flies, I think I discussed it with some batch. Just remind me if I discussed or not. These are basically, the vertex is nothing but the clockwise and anti-clockwise wing rotate. The air is created here in a anti-clockwise direction. So which is again a problem, which will lose, the aircraft will lose the control. So to counteract that problem of vertex, is wing tips are not kept it straight, so it is raised, which is high. So that is winglet. That we call it as. So one more diagram is there in detail here. So this is the wing structure here. So the main plane. So a wing is a type of flight or propulsion through the atmosphere or through another gases or liquids. So basically it needs to compromise with, it has to lift to drag ratio. Okay. Now if you look at the wing structure here, previously what we have seen is the fuselage. Now what we are looking is the wing. So it has the spar. So this is the spar. So this main structure which is running from here to here, from the from fuselage to the wing tip is the spar, and there is the leading edge, there is a trailing edge, and here these are ribs. These are called as ribs. Okay. This is the basic wing structure. And it depends how it is constructed, it depends on the type of the wing. There are different types of wing. So straight wing means you can see in this diagram. So it is just straight, means perpendicular to the fuselage. Then swept back wing is this. This is variable swept back wing is this, which you see in most of the commercial aircraft. Swept back. Delta wing, which you can see in the Tejas aircraft. This is a delta wing, and I think also in the Rafale aircraft. Tapered wing is, not tapered, tapered wing is this. It means tapered in the sense there is a slope in the leading edge as well as in the trailing edge. So that is why it is called as a tapered wing. Then variable geometry wing, it means now the wings initially at the takeoff it will be in the front, and when it is flying at Mach 1 and above speed, then the wing comes back. So this means these are variable geometric wings. Now you can see all of this here, the different types. So this is a variable. So now which you see here, this is a geometrical variable wing. And this is a delta wing, this is a Tejas aircraft. And this might be a tapered. Now let us look into the tail plane. So the tail plane, again there are different types of tail plane. So tail plane serves three purposes. One is for equilibrium, stability and control. So it basically has a horizontal stabilizer, vertical stabilizer. Okay. So which the purpose of this tail plane is to provide the lift to the aircraft. Okay. Now from this diagram you can see the types of tail plane which we have. So conventional tail plane is this, which we have something like plus. That is conventional. T-tail is which you can see in most of the transport aircraft. That is a T-tail. And cruciform is the horizontal stabilizer is not at the tip of the vertical stabilizer. It is at the center of the vertical stabilizer. This is the cruciform structure. And H tail is, again, the vertical. There is not only one vertical stabilizer, there are two vertical stabilizers at the corner of this horizontal stabilizer. And here we have three vertical stabilizers, so this is called as triple tail. And the V tail is the V tail which doesn't have any horizontal, so this V shaped which serves as rudder as well as horizontal stabilizer, because it provides the yawing action as well as the V tail provides yawing as well as the pitching action. Both will be served. And inverted V is this, and Y tail plane, and this is twin tail. So twin tail you can see in the Sukhoi aircraft, where we have the two vertical fins here, and boom mounted. So this you can see in old aircrafts like this kind of structure, and boom mounted inverted V and the ring tail. So now you can see from all these. So this is a T tail, and this is the cruciform tail. So cruciform, you see this. This horizontal stabilizer is not at the bottom, it is in the center of this vertical fin. So this is a cruciform, and this is the V tail. Okay, so this is also a V tail, and you see this drone which we have inverted V tail. Okay, and you see this aircraft which we have the triple tail. Here we have the three vertical fins, and if you see this, it's a kind of rotator, a kind of router tail here. And if you see this, this is another, as I told. Talk about the landing gears. So landing gears is nothing but, in fact, it is very funny to read your seniors' answers. What is undercarriage? Most of the cadets write undercarriage is the load which aircraft carries. It is not that. Undercarriage or landing gear means the same thing. Okay, so don't get confused. So undercarriage means the wheels. Landing gears is also means the same wheels. Okay, so which helps the aircraft in takeoff and landing or in taxiing moment at those times. So those are called as the landing gears. So these are also called as undercarriage, as it is written here. The undercarriage of the landing gear in aviation is a structure that supports stuff on ground and allows it for taxi, takeoff and landing. So what are the different types of these landing gears or undercarriages? It's of skid types, key, slow, or combination of these can be deployed. Depending on, if you are landing on the water, if the aircraft is supposed to land on water, then you need to have floats. Then if you are landing on, ice areas, the snow areas, then we need to have the skis. Skids means which are there in the helicopters, which kind of structure which have in helicopters, we call it as. So undercarriage of the aircraft includes the wheels, that is tires and brakes, as well as the main undercarriage, leg mounts, leg components. It performs essential functions as they do. So there are different types of landing gears again. Fixed landing gears. Fixed landing gears means like how we have in Virus. It doesn't go inside the fuselage or in the wing. It is fixed. Okay. When we fly at any altitude, the wings are fixed. So those type of landing. Virus is okay. We are not flying at very high speed, so the drag is okay. It is not that much. Otherwise, when the aircrafts are flown, maybe a commercial aircraft, a fighter aircraft, these landing gears provide additional drag. So to avoid this, what happens? These undercarriages are taken inside the fuselage or under the wing. so that there should be a smooth surface and the drag can be reduced. So those kind of landing gears are called as retractable landing gears, which moves inside and come out during landing. So most of the modern aircraft has retractable and small aircraft has fixed landing gears. Now the left side of this diagram, what you see is the fixed landing gears. So virus aircraft or before the Zen aircraft which you have, these are fixed landing gears which are non-movable. Whereas retractable means, if you see in the right side of the diagram, after takeoff, what happens? This wheels go inside this wings or in the fuselage. So again, there are different types of landing gears. So conventional landing gear. So this, whatever you are seeing in the diagram, the conventional landing gear, it has two main wheels and one wheel at the tail. This we call it as the conventional landing gear. Okay. In the exam, it will come. What are the different types of landing gears? What is the conventional landing gear? What is the retractable landing gear? So please write correct answer. It's very simple and it's a common thing. Okay. The problem with this conventional landing gear is when it needs to turn, what happens? This tail wheel will go out of the paved surface or the what is it runway or taxiway or anything like that. Okay. And the visibility is also poor in this case for the pilot. So the next which came, the tricycle landing gear. So if you see, it looks like a tricycle, like auto. Okay. It has two main wheels under the main wing or under the fuselage and one nose wheel is there. Rather than tail, not wing, sorry, wheel. We have the nose wheel. So that makes this a tricycle landing gear. Okay. So this is another kind of landing gear. This is a bicycle landing gear because it has only two main wheels, that is under the fuselage. This is in Hornet also, you can see the aircraft which take off vertically, Super Hornet, and there are two supporting wheels at the under the wings. So this type of landing gear we call it as bicycle landing gears. And this is a single main landing gear because if you see here, there is only one main landing gear and the supporting landing gear at the wings and at the tail of the fuselage. And this is a quadratic landing gear. Quadratic means there are side by side landing gears and again at the tail side there are two main landing gears. So this is quadratic. It again, the type of landing gears depends on the size of the aircraft. Okay, how many landing gears it should have. And this is multi-bogie landing gear. This multi-bogie landing gear mostly will see in the cargo planes, transport aircraft. Okay, because it's a very huge aircraft and needs to support by multiple wheels. So this we call it as the multi-bogie landing gears. So this is a multiple wheels per landing gear stud. It is especially common to place two wheels on the nose stud of the tricycle arrangement. It is also a tricycle arrangement, but on the main wheels it has multiple bogie landing arrangements. Okay. So that's it for today's session. So today we talked about the airframes and the landing. So if you have any queries, you can ask. If you have any queries, you can ask. Cadets?
No queries, sir.
Okay. So if there are no queries, then we'll wind up our session. So once again, I want to remind you all that Fit India campaign has to be taken seriously because it has come from the PMO office. Orders have come from PMO office. Every day do the physical activity, post in social media. Clear? Okay. So with this,
Yes, sir.
thank you and Jai Hind.